the man who stopped fighting everything. There was a time when Arjun thought peace would come only when everything in his life became perfect. A better salary, a better job, more respect, more money, fewer problems. He kept telling himself, once I reach that point, I'll finally be happy. But every time one problem disappeared, another one arrived. And slowly, Arjun learned something that completely changed the way he lived. Peace doesn't begin when your problems end. Peace begins when you stop allowing every problem to control your mind. Arjun was 28 years old and worked for a software company in Bengaluru. From the outside, his life looked normal. He had a decent job, a loving family, a few good friends, enough money to manage his expenses. But inside, Arjun was constantly fighting with himself. Every morning, before he even got out of bed, he picked up his phone. Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. One friend had bought a new car. Another had moved abroad. A former classmate had become a manager. Someone younger than him had posted, excited to announce my new journey. Arjun put his phone down. His entire mood changed. What am I doing with my life? That feeling followed him to work. One morning, his manager criticized a small mistake in his work. It wasn't anything serious, but Arjun kept thinking about it for hours. Why did he speak to me like that? Does he think I'm useless? Maybe everyone thinks I'm not good enough. That evening, a colleague received appreciation from the manager. Everyone congratulated him. Arjun smiled too, but inside he was comparing himself again. On the way home, traffic was terrible. Someone suddenly cut in front of his bike. Arjun became angry. He shouted. He complained. By the time he reached home, his body was home, but his mind was still fighting battles from the entire day. His mother was sitting in the living room. She looked at him and asked, "Bad day?" Arjun dropped his bag on the sofa. Every day is becoming a bad day. His mother smiled gently. What happened? And Arjun started listing everything. His manager, his salary, traffic, his friends, his career, people who irritated him, people who were doing better than him. His mother listened quietly. Then she asked him one simple question. Out of everything you just told me, how many things can you actually control? Arjun became silent. She continued, can you control what your manager thinks? No. Can you control your friend's salary? No. Can you control traffic? No. Can you control what people post online? No. Then she asked, so why are you giving all these things permission to control your mind? Arjun didn't answer. Before going to sleep that night, his mother said, you don't have to react to everything that happens around you. That sentence stayed with him. You don't have to react to everything. The next morning, Arjun woke up and automatically reached for his phone. But this time, he stopped. He placed it back on the table. He opened the window. The morning air was cool. Birds were sitting on the buildings nearby. The street was slowly waking up. For 5 minutes, Arjun simply sat there. No Instagram, no messages, no comparison, just silence. It felt strange, but peaceful. Arjun didn't suddenly become a completely different person. His problems didn't disappear. His manager still criticized him sometimes. Traffic was still terrible. Some friends still earned more than him. Some people still misunderstood him. But Arjun started changing one thing. His reaction. When someone irritated him, he waited before replying. When somebody disagreed with him, he stopped trying to prove that he was always right. When he saw someone succeeding, instead of asking, why not me, he started saying, good for them. My journey is different. He reduced unnecessary social media scrolling. He started taking short evening walks without his phone. Sometimes he sat alone with a cup of tea. No music, no videos, no notifications, just himself. A few months later, something happened at work. Arjun had worked extremely hard on a project. He expected appreciation. Instead, another colleague received most of the credit. The old Arjun would have been furious. He would have carried that anger home. He would have replayed the situation hundreds of times in his head. But this time, Arjun walked outside the office for a few minutes. He looked at the sky. He took a slow breath. And asked himself, can I change what already happened? No. Can I decide what I do next? Yes. So he calmly spoke to his manager about his contribution. Then he returned to work. No shouting, no revenge, no entire evening destroyed. That night, Arjun understood something. For years, he thought being peaceful meant becoming weak. He thought he had to answer every insult, win every argument, prove himself to everyone, but now he understood. Walking away from unnecessary conflict wasn't weakness. Sometimes it was strength. Not every comment needed a reply. Not every misunderstanding needed an explanation. Not every person needed to understand him. Not every argument needed to be won. And most importantly, not every thought inside his head deserved his attention. A year later, Arjun's life still wasn't perfect. He hadn't become a millionaire. He still had career goals. He still had responsibilities. He still experienced disappointment, but people around him noticed something different. One evening, his friend asked, "You've changed a lot. You seem much calmer now. What happened?" Arjun smiled. "I stopped waiting for life to become peaceful." His friend looked confused. Arjun continued, "I realized life will always have noise. Somebody will always judge you. Somebody will always have more than you. Some plan will fail. Some person will disappoint you. Some days will simply be difficult." He paused. "I can't control all of that. But I can decide how much space I give it inside my mind." Moral of the story: inner peace doesn't mean having a life without problems. It doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities. And it doesn't mean that you should never feel angry, sad, or disappointed. Inner peace means understanding what deserves your energy, and what doesn't. You don't need to answer every person who misunderstands you. You don't need to compare your life with everyone around you. You don't need to replay yesterday's mistakes every night. Do what you can. Fix what you can. Learn from your mistakes. Work toward the life you want. But when something is outside your control, learn to release it. Because your mind is your home. Be careful about what you allow to live there. The world around you may never become completely quiet, but you can still create quiet within yourself. And sometimes, that is where real happiness begins. Thank you for watching Namami. If this story gave you a moment of peace, share it with someone who may need to hear it today. Remember, you cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can choose what you carry within you. See you in the next story.